Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. This is an energy reading in which I'm going to look into the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now I do want to just say before I begin, some of you might have seen the clip I posted a few days ago from my global predictions for 2025 reading that I posted in 2024, in which I said I felt there would be an assassination this year of someone high profile. I remember I couldn't see who it was. It was just the outline of a figure, and I feel that was possibly because I'd never heard of Charlie Kirk at the time. I could just see it was someone quite well known. And I was guided to that reading the other day by Spirit, and that then guided me to do this reading. Now, it won't be a channeling because it's too soon. You know, after Spirit passes, sometimes it can take a while for Spirit to cross over. And also in this case, for Charlie, obviously it was a traumatic passing for him. So he needs time to heal and to be alone. I do feel he is in the spirit realm. That's all I'll say for now. But I can still do an energy reading where I channel messages from Spirit and what's come through to me as well. We'll pull a few cards as well in this reading. Yesterday it was clearly divine, a divine sign also, because a video popped up on my YouTube feed of Charlie Kirk. It was from his own YouTube channel. So I watched it just to sort of feel his energy, see what he was all about. Now, he was obviously very spiritual. And the word that came to me when I was listening to him was saviour. I feel he was a chosen one. He was here to share the word. And I also feel that his death was prophetic. Now I feel it's to create an awakening in people to faith and repentance. I feel the timing was significant for this as well. And also what I felt was, in terms of him being taken out, they tried to silence him by doing that, but in fact, he's now heard everywhere. Because, as I said, I'd never heard of him, so I've watched him and listened. I'm sure many other people are. I'm sure many people were now awakened to their faith, more so as well. So after I saw that video of Charlie last night, I went offline to see if I could channel anything from Spirit. And what came through to me in my mind was Revelation 14 from the Bible. So I did a bit of Bible study, and I'm going to share a few verses from that chapter with you all that stood out to me. And I just want to say that I feel Charlie would have wanted this, because obviously he was sharing the word of God a lot. Now, first of all, it said the Lamb and the 144,000. It is those who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. So these are the chosen ones who roam the earth, follow the path of Jesus, and spread the word. Now, that really speaks of Charlie to me. As I said before, he was a chosen one. So it's interesting that that came through to me. I'm also being guided to say some of you might keep seeing 144. So you could be one of these chosen ones here to do this. This could be your mission. Could be like your wake-up call, I'm hearing. So just wanted to share that. Something else that came through, that stood out to me rather, is blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Blessed indeed, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labours for their deeds follow them. And again, I just, felt, wow, that really describes Charlie, doesn't it? He died in the Lord. His deeds will follow him. As I said about him now being heard, he fulfilled his task. It was prophetic. It happened for a reason. That's what I feel from that. Now, what's also interesting that's in that chapter is something that came through, in fact, in one of my recent predictions readings. Some of you may remember, if not, you may wish to check that one out, seeing as my predictions often do come true. It said, if anyone worships the beast and its image and receives a mark on his forehead or hand, he will drink the wine of God's wrath, and tormented with fire and sulphur in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So I did say about the mark of the beast in the future, and I had a dream about a chip. So that was just really interesting that came through. As I said about this being a crucial time, the passing of Charlie, I really feel that. It's to help more people awaken before this comes. Who do you worship? It's your choice. That's what I'm being guided to say. And then the other verse that stood out was, here is a call for the endurance of the saints. So those of you who have faith, who see the light, who wish to share the light, you're being guided rather to keep going. As did Charlie. Have faith, have no fear. Speak out. That's why we're here, no matter what. So anyway, I really wanted to share that. Hope that's brought some insight to some of you. The last thing I wanted to say that I felt was quite significant was the date. So obviously it was the 10th of September on which the assassination took place. Interesting that it's the date before September the 11th. So something around that, who was behind September the 11th, who was behind this. So that's what I'm going to now lead on to. Now, I know that they've arrested someone for this. I don't really know much else, to be honest. However, what I felt when I first saw this story was that this was premeditated by that energy behind the scenes that often comes out in my true crime readings. Someone who invested, and I feel there were actually a few people involved, few people there, in fact, who have not been implicated. It's almost like they were like a backup, to make sure it happened. It's like this had to happen. I just want to say that I don't mean that in a cruel way, but certain things in our lives are destined, including when we die. So yeah, I feel there was like this investment, a deal that happened. That's what I'm seeing in my mind's eye related to this. I'm going to pull a few cards just to see any clues around this, again, around the behind the scenes. Wow. Now it's interesting I said about investment. Look at all the coins in this card that are showing this. And here's the energy, that one behind the scenes, the Emperor that often comes out in my readings. could be someone who was at a distance, in fact. Could be a water sign who invested in this. Yeah, so we've got the World. Someone who feels they rule the world. It's that same energy that I often get, that Emperor. Dark energy. Who wants to bring down light workers, especially those who are rising. Something actually that came through this morning to me was he was getting too big. I think he had 5 million subscribers here on YouTube from what I saw. So yeah, really big, really seen. And of course they don't want that. They don't want people to see the light, to have faith. So what do? They either bring them down somehow or take them out. When they get too big, they take them out. Before that, they'll cause obstacles and problems for people to silence them. What even came through to me was he was kind of like the figure of Jesus in this world, sharing his teachings, and then, look at what happened to Jesus. It's very interesting, things that happen in the world that are biblical. That's what I feel in this case. Anything else now behind the scenes? We know it was an investment. This is alleged, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm reading the energy. This is what I feel. Yeah. There's the same energy. There's the person that made it happen. I'm getting a very heavy energy come through here. Yeah, we've got quite a few energies coming out, so that's what I mean, you see. There were, possibly 3 energies. So there's the person that invested and 3 energies. One of them, I feel, was ex-military. So they were quite good with armed rifle. I'm hearing rifle. I'm not sure if it was a rifle, but that's what I'm hearing. And one could be older. We've got sort of different ages here, but I mean, with cards, we can't always get age because the soul's age is different to our age here on Earth. But wow, that's confirming what I felt. Anything else behind the scenes? I'm suddenly being guided to stop because I'm getting tears come to my eyes. Yeah, wow, and I'm feeling emotions. Some of you might be very emotional. I think there's been a lot of publicity about this. It's been online everywhere. And people can get a bit overwhelmed. That's what I'm feeling. And also with grief, it works in mysterious ways, I've been guided to say. So some people may be affected, very emotional. It might have really hit them. And for some that could be unresolved grief that's coming to the surface. Especially if you didn't know Charlie. I mean, you can still have a connection with someone, obviously, if you followed him. But I often find that if people grieve over a celebrity someone they saw, they loved, but they didn't know them, that's fair enough, but there could be something else there deep down. So just something for some of you to think about there. Grieve, purge, let it out, celebrate the person. Don't get brought down, because the thing with grief is it brings down your vibration, which is what those dark energies want. You want to keep your vibration high, so turn it around and celebrate the person. Don't go into this heavy mourning energy, which is what I'm suddenly feeling, very heavy energy. It's interesting, we had a dog in this card, so there's an older gentleman here who was close with Charlie, and we've got a female, for that's his wife, very faithful. I feel she's going to be, what I'm suddenly getting now, she's going to be significant now in the world in terms of what she says. Again, this is biblical. I'm just suddenly hearing Esther come through. So she's going to be like a new voice that comes out. She's going to be faithful to, yeah, we've got love there. It's definitely his wife. She's going to be faithful to Charlie and what he was trying to share. Definitely coming out. She speaks from the heart. I've never seen her, by the way. I saw a picture of her on a thumbnail, but I've not actually seen her talk. That's what I mean. She's going to speak from the heart. It could be something that she shares. It's very heartfelt. That will touch people, touch people's hearts, help them to open their hearts. Yeah, so here's those energies behind the scenes that I felt, that planned this, as I felt, it's come out there. At least 3. They took a bit of a gamble. We've got 3 again here that's come out. And we've got a loss there, yeah. This is a female in particular who's feeling loss. I think I'm picking up on that. I'm getting a lot of emotion. Sorry everyone, I just had to pause the camera there. It got a bit overwhelming, but yeah, I was just saying about emotion that I'm really feeling. So, you know, from the collective and energies around him. So that's also why I don't usually do readings so soon, because you've got a lot going on. You know, but that's what I'm feeling. And that's what I feel is going to happen. There's going to be a lot of changes that happen in society. This card says weakness. Yeah, this is what they wanted. As I said, this is what they do. They try and weaken energies. And then if that doesn't work, because you can't put out a light, then they'll do what they did. Which is very sad, obviously. I just remembered that before this reading, I could suddenly hear someone speaking Spanish. So I'm wondering if there was someone around Charlie who spoke Spanish. It's a bit random, but that came through, I feel, for a reason. I have no idea about people who were around him or in his life, so that's just a kind of extra thing. One more card. Anything else we may need to know, and then I'll close out the reading for now. But I may do a channeling in the future when the time is right. So, always interesting where the cards fall. Wow. Well, this card speaks for itself. I'm not going to sort of say anything else, but you know, there was a big loss, obviously, a deep void for a lot of people. And this card, with this one I'm getting work. It was about what he was doing, about his work. This was the motive for it, as I felt. As I said about him getting big, it was not liked by those energies. So that's what they did. And that's what they do. You've got to piece it all together in terms of a lot of these cases that we see, similar to this one. And there's often a cover-up, which I feel has happened here. You'll get one person who's highlighted as the person who did it. They'll create a story. Is that story even real? You know, there's other energies behind it. They could have been paid. All sorts like that is now coming through. But I'm going to leave that there for now. I'm just going to pause the camera actually because I'm being guided to do something else. Okay everyone, I'm back. I've just been guided by Spirit to go and get an oracle deck and close out this reading with a message, with one card for you all as viewers. Wow. Everyone, it says you are the earth. Reconnect, renew, remember. Reconnect with who you are at a core, why you are here. Reconnect with nature, be strong like the stag. Remember the history. Renew, getting rebirth with that one as well. So, you know, spiritual awakening that I feel is going to happen for many at this time. People are going to be drawn to listen to Charlie now. This is, you know, a good thing in that way. Let him give you strength and guide you. And renew your soul. As a result, you might want to get out into nature as well to do this. This can really help you actually to get messages, guidance, see signs, see the sparkles of light there in this card, which can often show angels around you, your ancestors. What I'm being guided to say as well, for anyone who knew Charlie who's watching, loved ones, friends, you might be given signs. Maybe in your dreams as well, you might see Charlie in your dreams, or you might be given signs in nature. You might see an animal, like a stag who's like looking at you with piercing eyes, and it's a sign for you to keep going and have faith. And that's for all of you, because what I'm being guided to say as well is that you will also see signs, and that can be your ancestors and loved ones coming through. Things like a robin. A robin is very common, can be a sign of an ancestor coming to visit you, especially a parent, but not always a loved one. Sparkles of light, feathers, number synchronicities is another one. So that's a beautiful message to end on. I'm seeing the stag there, strong stag like Charlie, leading the way out of the woods. Okay everyone, I'm going to leave that there for now, but I really hope you've enjoyed this reading, that it's brought you some clarity and insight. Let's all send our positive thoughts and healing vibes to people who've been affected, whether they knew Charlie or not. Let us all rise up and have faith. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be back soon to do another reading. Sending peace, love and light to you all.